The gentlelady from Florida, Ms.
Here we go.
Frankel, is recognized for an
Thank you.
amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have an amendment at the desk, and I ask unanimous consent that the reading be dispensed with.
Without objection, the reading of the amendment is dispensed with, and the gentlelady is recognized for remarks on her amendment.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I rise today to offer an amendment that would ensure that no less than 15% of the economic development funds in this bill are made available for programs in Africa. By 2050, Africa will become home to a quarter of the world's population, nearly half of the global youth. That's quite amazing. Some of the cities in Africa are booming. Startups are thriving, and across the continent, countries are leapfrogging traditional development paths through mobile banking, financial technology, and energy innovation. By 2030, Africa's consumer market is expected to top $2.5 trillion. This transformation is already visible. In Nigeria, financial technology startups are reshaping the economy, and growing the middle class is driving consumer demand. In Kenya, mobile banking platforms have brought millions of dollars into formal financial system. South Africa and Egypt are home to some of the continent's most advanced tech hubs and industrial centers, while Ghana's stability and entrepreneurial energy are drawing investors from around the world. These countries and many others are building, innovating, and competing. The question is, will the United States be at the table, or will we let others like China steer the ship? I don't think that's at the table. It's at the, I don't know what that's called, the big front of the boat. Anyway, at the same time, we must be clear-eyed. Disease still ravage vulnerable communities. Young people need access to quality education, job training, and opportunity so that success is not reserved for elites alone. And while we weigh our options, China is not waiting. It's investing billions in African infrastructure, digital networks, mining operations, and military influence. China is writing the rules of the road, and we're at the real risk of being left behind, and we cannot afford to cede ground, because this is more than development assistance. It's about protecting our shared future. Pandemics, violent extremism, extreme weather events, they don't just stay contained within borders. Strategic, sustained U.S. engagement in Africa makes the world safer, more stable, more prosperous, and that means for us Americans too. And if we care about resilient supply chains, if we care about the future of democracy, if we want American business to thrive in a competitive global economy, we must be present in Africa and committed to helping our African partners seize the opportunities ahead. Mr. Chairman, of course, I'm not really bragging, but I want to say this. This amendment is about vision. Vision, correct? Brag. Oh, she said brag. The vision of American leadership that is bold, forward-looking, and grounded in real partnership, not transactional deals or one-time handouts. We can be Africa's partner of choice, or we can watch others fill the void. Let's make the smart choices. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment, and I yield back.
I thank the gentlelady for explanation of her amendment. I now yield to myself on the amendment. Again, I thank her for her amendment. Africa remains a key focus for our national security interests. Our strategic competitors, whether it's China, the PRC, Russia, including, by the way, the rebranded Wagner Group, are aggressively expanding influence across the continent, undermining democracies, destabilizing markets, and also cutting United States access to critical mineral supplies. Funding from the National Security Investment Program accounts help ensure that America remains economically and politically competitive on the continent. It helps deter our adversaries, and it keeps us secure. Power Africa really is the backbone of sustainable growth, creating reliable power solutions that foster economic self-sufficiency and open new markets for the United States. Supporting faith-based organizations and trusted local partners creates stability, it counters extremism, recruitment for extremist groups, and builds goodwill towards the United States. Targeted assistance for Nigeria addresses growing Christian persecution, and strengthens the rule of law in Africa's most populous nation and a key regional ally of the United States, a security ally. In Africa's critical minerals, cobalt, lithium, and rare earths are essential for the United States defense and technology. Securing those resources is a direct national security priority. And this funding supports Global Fragility Act initiatives in West Africa, advancing stability in fragile states while reducing future costs to the United States and helping our national security, which is why I commend the ranking member for her amendment, and I would urge my colleagues to support this fine amendment.
Okay. 1 for 2. 1 for 2.
Is there further debate on this amendment? Seeing no further debate, the question, seeing no further debate, the ranking member of the subcommittee is recognized to close for 1 minute.
I'll just say 1 for 2, not bad. But no, thank you. Listen, thank you. You know what, Mr. Chair, I think a lot of us in this room, we have some very common thoughts that we agree on. I'm glad this is one of them, and I yield back.
Thank you, gentlemen. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentlelady from Florida. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Okay, the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted.
Like turning the keys over to your kid and finding out he drives better than you do. I now recognize Chairman Diaz-Balart to offer a Republican en bloc amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an amendment on the desk, and I would ask unanimous consent that the clerk dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Without objection, the reading of the amendment is dispensed with, and the gentleman is recognized to explain his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This en bloc amendment includes several changes to the bill and report. The en bloc adds bill language withholding a portion of funds from the UN and other international organizations if they deny Taiwan observer status. This is a longstanding and inexcusable problem at the UN, among so many others, and this amendment begins to address it. It adds language to the bill prohibiting the use of funds in contravention of its Executive Order 14127 relating to restoring names that honor American greatness, including to create, procure, or display any map that inaccurately depicts the Gulf of America. It adds language preventing discrimination based on a person's religious belief around marriage. It increases funds for the American Sections International Commission account with a corresponding offset for unobligated balances from the Economic Support Fund account. The en bloc also includes additional report language, increasing the funding directive for the North American Development Bank, encouraging the State Department's Bureau of Medical Services to support telemedicine platforms to increase cost efficiencies and timely health care to Chief of Mission personnel. Directing the Secretary of State to use funds to counter the threats posed by PRC-linked scam centers and to implement the visa restriction policy announced by the Secretary on May 28, 2025, related to targeting of foreign nationals, those, again, who censor Americans. Directing $2 million above the prior year for the State Department to implement, enforce, and renew sanctions against Iran. Directing a report describing the policies the State Department is implementing to address the threat posed by the Muslim Brotherhood, and directing the State Department to provide to members of Congress information regarding grants by non-United States donors to organizations funded by the United States in the European Union and encouraging the Secretary of State to re-examine the potentially negative impacts that altering, suspending, or eliminating established income tax treaties has on NATO allies. Mr. Chairman, that is the explanation. I would urge for a yes vote on the amendment, and I yield back.
Thank you, gentlemen. The gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Frankel, is recognized to address the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I strongly oppose this amendment, and there's an additional extreme provision in it. The world faces serious challenges from great power competition, diseases which have no respect for international borders and the climate crisis. But instead of discussing these critical issues, we're talking about policies that have no place in the bill, dictating names on maps and the definition of marriage. I mean, really, don't we have other things to talk about? I think so. So we should be focused on global problems that affect our constituents, not extreme provisions that we know will go nowhere, although who knows with this group. With that said, I urge my colleagues to reject this amendment. And just let me just, I want to add one more thing. I think there was one more thing added to this, which is striking the additional availability in case of a pocket rescission. And I just say this is shameful. We have to, if we don't stand up for our constitutional responsibility and the power of the purse, I don't know who's going to stand up for us. So with that, reject it. I yield back.
Thank you, gentlelady. The gentlelady from Connecticut, the ranking member, is recognized for her response to the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in opposition to this amendment, which, among other things, strikes Section 7065, which concerns unlawful impoundment, and as well as a matter of accountability. I must speak out today against the pattern of unlawful impoundment. It's being led by the OMB Director, Russ Vought. He insists that there is somehow a loophole in the Impoundment Control Act that permits the executive branch to unilaterally cancel appropriations that otherwise expire under current law at the end of the fiscal year by transmitting a special message proposing rescissions late in the fiscal year and withholding the amounts until they can no longer be used. I'm going to quote the late Justice Scalia. The Congress, quote, does not, one might say, hide elephants in mouse holes, end quote. Indeed, unilateral actions by executive branch that would impound congressionally passed, duly enacted appropriations is the very thing the Impoundment Control Act prohibits. And Director Vought refers to this unlawful maneuver as a pocket rescission, quote, which is another name for an unlawful impoundment. December 2018, Government Accountability Office legal opinion, which was requested jointly by my friend, House Budget Committee Chair at the time, Chairman Womack, Ranking Member Yarmouth, is exactly right, though, and confirms that the Impoundment Control Act bars this maneuver. It bars freezing the money until it expires. The GAO stated unequivocally that the interpretation would in fact give the president power to amend or repeal previously enacted appropriations merely by calibrating the timing of the submission of a special message, and that withholding of this nature would be an aversion to both the constitutional process for enacting federal law and to Congress's constitutional power of the purse, end quote. These are quotes. Senator Lindsey Graham, and Dean of our House, my friend Representative Rogers, they wrote in 2019 to President Trump about their concerns with the reports of a plan to pursue pocket rescissions of foreign assistance funds. You know, they were very clear in what they stated. Preventing agencies from obligating such large sums seems an abdication of this bipartisan agreement, and Congress thus expressed strong opposition to this exercise last year. So we're at it again. Russ Vought is at it again. Look, Republicans and Democrats alike should reject the ploy for what it is, which is a direct assault to Congress's Article I power, allowing the administration to erase duly enacted funding through procedural delays that amount to unlawful impoundment would destabilize the appropriations process, corrode the separation of powers that the Impoundment Control Act was enacted to defend. And Section 7065 of this bill, drafted by my friend Chair Diaz-Balart, is a clear check on agency overreach and accountability and is intended to ensure that this committee, that the Congress remains at the center of appropriations decisions and is intended to deter unlawful impoundment through so-called, quote, pocket rescissions. Striking this section, as this amendment would do, as the intended amendment would do, undermines the clear message we need to send, that we will defend the critical and important role of this committee, of the Congress, of the separation of powers enshrined in our Constitution. And for that reason, I ask my colleagues to oppose this amendment, and I yield back.
Thank the gentlelady. The gentlelady from Minnesota, Ms. McCollum, is recognized to address the amendment.
It's a problem that I have that I read the amendments and I read the bill. Folks, the bill's on our desk. If you want, open up to page 230. To the chair of the subcommittee, there weren't a lot of things in this bill that I liked, but I applauded and I appreciated Section 7065. And now it's gone. If we vote for this amendment, it's gone. And as Ranking Member DeLauro pointed out, this was our check, our balance, our reasserting to the executive branch, hey, we have a role here. I hear all the time, the president has a mandate. Well, guess what? Each one of us with our voting card, we have a mandate. Our mandate is to protect and to honor the Constitution, Article 1 of the Constitution. That's our mandate. And, you know, there's supposed to be tension between the executive branch and the congressional branch. And, you know, then things go to the judicial branch, and sometimes we like the way they rule, sometimes we don't like the way that they rule. But this is our job. And we have up here, no money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in the consequence of appropriations made by law. I just talked earlier about 4 months ago, we all voted to have some money go to the State Department to do things that we all agreed on that were good. And then the administration just said, nope, we're not going to distribute the food. No, we're not going to distribute the river blindness. We're just going to let those things be destroyed that could have saved lives. So I'm here to take a stand. And I did not come here to, as a social studies teacher in particular, to turn my back on what my mandate is with my election certificate, with my voting card, to stand up for the House of Representatives. And then I just have to mention two other things. You're probably all tired of hearing. I wouldn't have been your favorite teacher had I been your social studies teacher. Let me just say something about the maps. Here we go again. You know, it's been called the Gulf of Mexico for how long? I didn't know when you ran for president, you were running for naming rights, changing what we call things unilaterally, not asking Congress to come change them, unilaterally, you know, changing a room at the Kennedy Center. Now the president deciding what he wants the Gulf of Mexico to be called, the Gulf of America. I mean, what's next? Is the president going to tell the state of New Mexico that they have to change their name now too? This is beyond comprehension for me, that we're getting into what maps need to look like, what they don't need to look like, and naming rights. And then the last comment I'm going to make, really, you missed a few things in the tax bill, so you're going to put them in this bill. To the subcommittee chairman, I realize that you have some challenges on your side, and we're going to go to conference and do some other things. But I cannot idly stand back and not speak to the fine provision that you put in the bill, that for whatever reason, and you'll explain it to me later, I know with great passion, that you've changed. You had a great idea. I wish you would have stuck with it. I yield back.
Thank you, gentlelady. Are there others wishing to address the amendment? Gentleman from Maryland is recognized to address the amendment.
I rise in opposition to the amendment. I won't go into it at great length, but I want to say something and follow up on what Ms. McCullum said. America is a great country. And those who are great don't have to go around telling people, I'm great, I'm powerful, I'm big. It's the weak and small who have to do that. And America is neither weak nor small. And in my view, while not perfect, one of the best nations on earth in terms of what it has done through the last century. The president wants to rename the football team as well. He really is into names. Do we have no self-respect that we have to tell the rest of the world that we need the Gulf, which has been for 400 plus years called the Gulf of Mexico? Do you think anybody looks at the map and says Gulf of Mexico? Gee whiz, Mexico must be more important than the United States. If you think that, you lack a lot of self-confidence. Just name stuff. Big, beautiful bill. It could have been called the Make America Greater bill. I would have understood that, but the big, beautiful bill, that's a child's name. And why do you perpetuate it? Not to mention the fact you do want to give up the authority of this committee. To be not a committee that passes laws, but passes suggestions to Mr. Vogt. The chairman got up and argued about the 15% to Africa. What if Vogt says tomorrow, I don't like Africa. You know, you got a lot of those countries that the Trump referred to as, I'm not going to repeat it. And says, no, I'm not going to do that. We just passed an amendment in a bipartisan way that said we ought to do that. Why? For the best interests of the United States of America. And then we pass an amendment that says the Gulf of Mexico shall be the Gulf of America. How lacking in confidence, self-respect, and integrity do we have? Stand up for America. Stand up for the committee. Stand up for the Congress. Stand up for the Constitution.
Do any other members seek recognition to speak on the amendment? Seeing none, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute to close.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I want to thank the members for their input and recommendations for strengthening the elements of this bill and the report. I do have one observation, however, that it would seem like no administration has ever changed a name before. This is a novel concept. Everybody's so offended by it. It's amazing how short our memories can be in this place. But, Mr. Chairman, again, I think it's a good amendment. I would urge a yes vote, and I yield back.
He didn't mention an example.
The question is now on the amendment proposed by the gentleman from Florida. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no.
No!
The opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Recorded vote has been requested. Sufficient number of hands have been raised. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Adderholt. Aye. Mr. Adderholt, aye. Mr. Aguilar. Mr. Aguilar, no. Mr. Alford. Mr. Alford, aye. Mr. Amedee. Mr. Amedee, aye. Mrs. Bice. Mrs. Bice, aye. Mr. Bishop. Mr. Bishop, no. Mr. Calvert. Mr. Calvert, aye. Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter, aye. Mr. Case. Mr. Case, no. Mr. Siskamani? Mr. Siskamani, aye. Mr. Klein? Mr. Cloud? Mr. Cloud, aye. Mr. Clyburn? No. Mr. Clyburn, no. Mr. Clyde? Mr. Clyde, aye. Mr. Cole?
Aye.
Mr. Cole, aye. Mr. Cuellar? Ms. Dean? Ms. DeLauro? No. Ms. DeLauro, no. Mr. Diaz-Balart? Mr. Diaz-Balart, aye. Mr. Edwards? Mr. Elzey? Ms. Escobar? Ms. Escobar, no. Mr. Espaillat? Mr. Espaillat, no. Mr. Fleischman? Mr. Fleischman, aye. Ms. Frankel? Ms. Frankel, no. Mr. Franklin? Mr. Franklin, aye. Mr. Gonzalez? Mr. Gonzalez, aye. Mr. Guest? Mr. Guest, aye. Mr. Harder? Mr. Harder, no. Dr. Harris? Dr. Harris, aye. Mrs. Henson? Mrs. Henson, aye. Mr. Hoyer?
No.
Mr. Hoyer, no. Mr. Ivy? Mr. Ivy, no. Mr. Joyce? Mr. Joyce?
Mr. Joyce.
Mr. Joyce, aye. Ms. Capter?
No.
Ms. Capter, no. Mr. LaLota? Ms. Lee? Ms. Lee, aye. Ms. Letlow? Ms. Letlow, aye. Mr. Levin? Mr. Levin, no. Ms. Malloy? Ms. Malloy, aye. Ms. McCullum? Ms. McCullum, no. Ms. Ming? Ms. Ming, no. Mr. Molinar? Mr. Molinar, aye. Mr. Moore? Mr. Morelli? Mr. Morelli, no. Mr. Mervan? Mr. Mervan, no. Mr. Newhouse? Mr. Newhouse, aye. Ms. Perez? Ms. Perez, no. Ms. Pingree? Ms. Pingree, no. Mr. Pocan? Mr. Pocan, no. Mr. Quigley? Mr. Quigley, no. Mr. Reschenthaler? Mr. Reschenthaler, aye. Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers, aye. Mr. Rutherford? Mr. Rutherford, aye. Mr. Simpson? Mr. Simpson, aye. Mr. Strong? Mr. Strong?
Mr. Strong.
Mr. Strong, aye. Mrs. Torres? Mrs. Torres, no. Ms. Underwood? Ms. Underwood, no. Mr. Valadeo? Mr. Valadeo, aye. Ms. Wasserman Schultz? Ms. Wasserman Schultz, no. Mrs. Watson Coleman? Mrs. Watson Coleman, no. Mr. Womack? Mr. Womack, aye. Mr. Zinke? Mr. Zinke, aye.
Does any member wish to record their vote or change their vote? Gentleman from Virginia.
Mr. Klein, aye.
Gentleman from Texas.
Mr. Elzey, aye.
Gentleman from North Carolina.
Mr. Edwards, aye.
Gentlelady from Pennsylvania.
Ms. Dean, no.
Gentleman from West Virginia.
Mr. Moore, aye.
Are there other members wishing to record or change their vote? The gentlelady from Nevada.
Recorded as an aye.
Your gentlelady's recorded as an aye.
Afaya, no. Ms. Lee.
Are there others wishing to record or change their vote? Is Amadei recorded? Okay. Clerk will tally. On this vote, the ayes are 34 and the noes are 27. The amendment is adopted.